Hey you guys, so let's get started. We are continuing on with our distribution stuff that we've been doing. Before we would do a monomial times a binomial or a monomial times a trinomial. Today we're going to take it a little bit further and we're going to start having binomials times binomials. And I'm going to show you how it is that we're going to break it down. So our first step is to multiply the first terms together. Okay, keyword being first. So if this is my example, okay, I'm going to take the first term in each set of parentheses and I'm going to multiply those two together. So I have 3x times 2x, and that would give me 3 times 2 is 6, x times x is x squared. Okay, and then step 2 would be to multiply the outer terms together. Okay, so the outside terms in both sets of parentheses would be the first one and the last one. Notice how I included the sign. So I'm going to multiply those together. I get 3x times negative 5, and 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, and then I'm going to tack on this x at the end. My next step is step 3. Multiply the inner terms together. That would be this negative 4 and the 2x. So negative 4 times 2x, and that is going to give me negative 8x. And the last step, or step 4, is to multiply the last terms together. So negative 4 and negative 5, because they are the last terms in each set of parentheses. So that gives me negative 4 times negative 5. That gives me positive 20. Right, and so my last step, sorry, this is not my last step. My last step is to simplify. So I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to rewrite them into one line. So I have 6x squared minus 15x minus 8x plus 20. Okay, so I have them all in one line, and it says to simplify. So any terms that are similar, I need to put them together. So I notice right here, that has x squared and none of these do, so this is sitting by itself. These both have x's tacked on at the end, so I can put these two together. And this is a whole number, and that's the only whole number, so that stays by itself. Negative 15x minus 8x gives me negative 23x. And I can bring down my other terms, and that's it. That would be my answer for this example. So in short, a name that we call this, it's called the FOIL method. F for first, O for outside, I for inside, L for last, FOIL. Okay, so let's use that on a couple of these examples. So here's my problem, x plus 4 times x plus 8. I'm going to go through the FOIL steps. So F is for first, so it's going to be x times x, and x times x gives me x squared. And then O for outside, so my outside terms, x times 8, that gives me 8x. Then my inside terms, I for inside, that is 4 times x, which is 4x. And then I have L, which is my last terms, 4 times 8. And 4 times 8 is 32. Now that I have all of these, I'm going to write them in one long line. X squared plus 8x plus 4x plus 32. Again, these two inside terms come together, and that forms 12x. And I can bring these down, so plus 32. I'm going to bring down this one, I have x squared. That is my answer for this problem. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, see if you can do this next one on your own. When you're ready, push play. Okay, first step. F is for first, 2a times a. That gives me 2a squared. O, outside, that's 2a times negative 7. I included the sign. That gives me negative 14a. I is for inside. I have 5 times a, which is just 5a. And L is for last, so it's going to be 5 times negative 7. Again, I included the sign, and that gives me negative 35. Write them all down in one long line. That is 2a squared minus 14a plus 5a minus 35. Put these two together. Negative 14a plus 5a gives me negative 9a. Bring this down, I get negative 35. Bring down the first term, 2a squared. There's my answer. Okay, so that's the FOIL method. If you understand the FOIL method, fantastic. You can stop the video and you can go ahead and go on to your assignment. If you do not understand the FOIL method, it is just not making sense to you, keep watching this video. I'm going to go ahead and introduce a different method that might help. The name of this next method, it's called the box method. Okay, and it is very similar to Punnett squares. If you guys have gotten to Punnett squares in biology, it is very similar. It's the same idea. So let's go ahead and get started with that. My first problem, I have z minus 6 squared. Now, z minus 6 squared, all that means is z minus 6 times z minus 6. That's all that means. So I'm going to take these two. I'm going to take this first one. I'm going to write z minus 6. And I'm going to literally create a box. And I'm going to separate the terms with a line. And then I'm going to take the second set of parentheses and do the same thing, but write it on the side. So my first term is a z, my second term is the negative 6. Again, draw a line. And then I'm just going to match up each thing into the boxes and multiply them together. So z times z is z squared. Z times negative 6 is negative 6z. Z times negative 6 is negative 6z, and then negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. And then I'm going to take, just like I did before, how I had them listed and then I wrote them in one long line, I'm going to take all of these and write them in one long line. So I have z squared minus 6z minus 6z plus 36. And then again, I take my two middle terms, and that gives me negative 12z, and I bring down my other two terms. And there is my answer. Okay, so if you understand this one and you like it, go ahead and try this problem on your own. Pause the video. Try this next problem on your own, Try the next problem on your own, and then whenever you're ready, go ahead and push play. So I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. I'm going to use the box method. So here's my box. And I have 2x minus 5. Up top, I'm going to draw a line separating those two. And then I have 5x plus 3. Draw a line separating those two terms. Put them together. 5x times 2x gives me 10x squared. 5x times negative 5 gives me negative 25x. 2x times positive 3 gives me positive 6x. And then negative 5 times positive 3 gives me negative 15. Okay, and then again, write them in one long line. 10x squared minus 25x plus 6x minus 15. Put the two middle terms together. that gives me negative 19x. Bring this term down, negative 15. Bring the first term down, positive 10x squared. There's my final answer. Okay, as soon as you feel good about these notes, go ahead and get your assignment and start working on that. If you have any questions, please raise your hand.